So I have been thinking about the Nintendo Switch 2 and how the Steam Deck may actually finally be competition for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I don't think every single gamer out there is going to be feeling this. People like my buddy who just plays Nintendo, the hyper casual, like they are for sure just going to get a Nintendo Switch because they don't even know what a Steam Deck is. There's still people who don't know what Steam Deck is, which is fine. They don't need to know what the Steam Deck is. It's definitely not for everybody. Everyone could use it, but it's not for everybody. But I was thinking about this because there's been a lot of anticipation for the Nintendo Switch 2. I, for one, have been highly anticipating it because I love Nintendo and Nintendo games. But I can't deny that because of how long it's been taking for Nintendo to get their act together and show me what that freaking thing is, I am now at a point where I'm like, do I even care? I mean, how important is it? Obviously, it's going to be something I'm going to day one get. I'm going to get, if there's a limited edition, I'm going to go for that because, again, I am a huge Nintendo fan. But I'm starting, because of my actual newfound affinity towards PC gaming, 1, 2, towards the Steam Deck over this past year, and 3, because of how unbelievable the gaming experience and the seamless gaming experience and library management that Steam has made, I'm now wondering how much of Nintendo's new product am I even going to consider? And am I the only one that is feeling some of this? They've taken so long. They have taken so unbelievably long to release anything that I'm sitting here going like, if they would have caught me last year, before I have had now 2 years with the Steam Deck, if they would have caught me sooner, I wouldn't have been able to adapt my whole gaming to the Steam Deck. I think that the amount of time that they are taking to release the Nintendo Switch 2 is giving gamers like myself, other dads out there who have been historically a Nintendo gamer for the portability, it's giving us a little more time to experiment with other devices, such as the Steam Deck, Asus ROG Ally X, or Legion Go, MSI Claw. I mean, I can go on forever. But the gaming devices that we have grown to love in the past, Nintendo handhelds, because of how long this gosh darn thing is taking to just even tell us what's going on, I know I have been pushed to play more games on other platforms, whether it was PlayStation at some time. Now, because the PlayStation 5 Pro was so lackluster, and also PlayStation really showed their cards over this past year with how they're treating developers, I just was like, you know what? Let's look at other options to see if I can get a better gaming experience, because if PlayStation exclusives are no longer really going to be exclusive to the platform, and their exclusives also kind of put a sour taste in my mouth based on how they're treating other people, like in some ways, like why would I stick on the platform? I'm going to check something else out. Well, with Nintendo, I mean, they're not short of any sort of controversy. They've got a lot going on, and it is kind of a bummer. But with Nintendo, it used to be my go-to portable solution, right? I just go, I'd be getting all my games, Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, some of these titles that lend itself to a good portable gaming experience. Sea of Stars, as well as Eastward. These single-player narrative-based games, yes, JRPG in some styles, but also these single-player games were ones that I personally was more inclined to play. And so I would purchase it for the Nintendo Switch because the form factor was perfect, and also it had my other games like, Zelda Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, some of these other titles that I really like from Nintendo. But Nintendo has kind of slowed down the production of their big, huge AAA titles, primarily because, we're at the end of the life cycle. We just got a new Mario and Luigi Brothership game, which is pretty cool. I would have originally really enjoyed that game, but I personally have kind of grown out of some of these titles. I was so excited for that game, but then I'm playing games like Black Myth Wukong over on twitch.tv/JDXCoffee, and I'm having a good time doing that. I'm also playing WoW from time to time. I thought I was going to stream WoW more, based on the last couple we talked about it, and I was like, let's stream WoW. I was maybe off base. I might have misread strategy, and so it's not going to be a primary streamed game. I'm rethinking strategy in that, but still, I'm finding myself compelled to play different titles, and it's because of the distance between the original release and the next. The games that are being released on the Nintendo Switch, sure, we had Echoes of Wisdom, which was good. People enjoyed it. Wasn't really for me, although people say that I would like it. Eventually I'll get to it. It's just, the Nintendo Switch is so old at this point. It's still one of the, if not, I would consider one of the most perfect handhelds. The fact that it's been able to ride as long as it has is really a testament to how good their hardware is. All right, let's see here. What are we getting? We're going to Amber again. That wasn't really a good roll, but we're just going to run it. We're going to Amber. The recipe today, same coffee as yesterday. I'll post it below. Panama coffee. We're going with 20 grams of coffee, an 18-to-1 brew ratio, so 360 grams of water. And finally, with the grind, it's going to be a 6 on the O Gen 2 with the SSP burrs, which is the equivalent of about 13 clicks. So a little bit finer than the AeroPress usual. So 13 clicks on the Timor Chestnut C3 Pro. Around that, 13, maybe 14. So if you're following along with recipes, this is, again, that same coffee and 13 clicks on the Chestnut, or 6 here with the SSP. I don't know what the conversion is with the O Gen 2 burrs, but at least with this, it's going to be 6. So I was thinking, the Nintendo Switch 2, am I still excited for it? And the answer is yeah, but my anticipation has started to waver a little bit because of the necessity for it, right? So when Nintendo Switch drops their next system, I'm actually kind of concerned about how I'm going to integrate it into my gaming thing, right? And someone's going to be like, dude, you're thinking about this too much. It's just gaming. I'm like, it is just gaming, but that's what we do here. We overthink it, okay? That's how we're all about this. But when it comes to gaming as a hobby, I am so unbelievably served with a Steam Deck and a PC that I don't find myself overly compelled to get into the Nintendo eShop. I'm not a huge Pokemon fan as a whole, right? Pokemon's a great franchise, and they're fun, but as a whole, like, that franchise being tied to Nintendo doesn't bring me onto the Nintendo device. I'm a huge Mario and Zelda fan. Favorite types of Mario games are 2D side scrollers, and so playing a game like Super Mario Wonder was great. It was super fun, but I find myself going back and playing games like Super Mario World and still playing games from 90s and early 2000s because I think that was probably the best time that we had video games. And so when it comes to like the new Switch, sure, they're going to drop maybe that anticipated Metroid game, which going to be honest, Metroid's never been my franchise. Never. Metroid Dread is probably the best Metroid I've ever played, and I'm sure that means that the other ones I'd enjoy, but it's just never been my franchise. It still isn't my favorite franchise. So to get a new Prime, while it'd be cool, I, for one, am not really holding my breath for it. I don't even know much about it. I played Prime Remaster a little bit, but it's just really wasn't super for me. So maybe I'll try it again with my newfound enjoyment of Metroidvanias as well as Souls-like games, more difficult, challenging games. I think really what I'm looking for in my games is for it to not tell me where to go and for me to figure it out. Now, 7 Rebirth for sure tells you where to go, and it's more of just kind of a mind-numbing experience, which I enjoyed, and it was perfect for what it was. But it held in my hand the whole time. Same with Final Fantasy 16, a game of which I will share with all of you guys live on stream at some point. The plan as of now is to eventually finish Black Myth Wukong and hopefully finish it in time because I do want to play through Indiana Jones. I'm very interested in that game. The first-person aspect of it doesn't seem to be my favorite, but I'm still going to give it a crack, and hopefully you can join me for the Indiana Jones streams. I will be dressing up like Indiana Jones. Fun fact about JD, Indiana Jones is one of my favorite movie series. I even like The Crystal Skull. I haven't watched the most recent one because I've kind of vowed to not watch any remakes because that's all it is moving forward. And so I haven't watched any of the television series from the 90s and 2000s remakes that came out. I haven't watched any movie remakes that have come out. I just don't watch remakes because they're always horrible. And so I skipped the most recent Indiana Jones because Indiana Jones 1, 2, 3, and even 4. For me, 4 is not my favorite, but I still like the original. I mean, Temple of Doom is one of the wildest Indiana Jones movies. It's so crazy. It's so bizarre. My favorite one actually is The Last Crusade. A lot of people like Raiders of the Lost Ark, but me personally, Last Crusade is my favorite Indiana Jones. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know what your favorite Indiana Jones is. And if you are just listening to this, I would love for you to head over to YouTube and drop it in the comments so I can actually hear what your favorite one is. But when it comes to the Switch, I think that taking this long to release the Nintendo Switch 2 information isn't building anticipation anymore because of how user-friendly and actually how good the Steam Deck is. At first, I remember when the Steam Deck launched, we were like, Steam Deck versus Nintendo Switch, which one will win? And I was like, dude, you guys are idiots. They're not even in the same playing field. And for the longest time, I was like, they're not even they don't even have the same audience. Nintendo versus, no, there's no way. But as time has gone on and us dads have kind of found our ways back to video games and realized that portable gaming is truly the way, in flexible location, FlexiLock, is truly the way to game more and more. Steam Deck finding their way into our daily loadies with the Glock loadout. You guys know, if you know, you know. All of that stuff has become such a powerhouse in the gaming world. We find ourselves like drawn to this, and now with Nintendo used to be the only way to truly experience a good hybrid-like gaming thing, right? There were other ways, but it wasn't as good, and it certainly wasn't user-friendly, and it wasn't consumer-friendly, right? User-friendly as in, like, the experience was Windows 11, clunky, and consumer-friendly is until the Steam Deck really hit the market, you were spending upwards of $800 to $1,000 on some of these other devices, the Aya Neo and stuff like that, to really get one that plays games moderately okay. It just wasn't an accessible, like, not accessible as in accessibility has such a, it's a weighted term because it has to do with other things, but it wasn't as available for those of us, or attainable is a better way to put it, who were wanting to play portably and play some of these big AAA titles. I mean, you go back just 4 or 5 years ago, and you would have to spend, again, $800 to get a device that, and now we do have, $800 for an Ally X, but back then, $800 to $1,000 is brutal, and also the games they didn't run super well. Now, with Ally X having a little bit of optimization, it's not perfect, and with the Steam Deck, certainly. I think the Steam Deck, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, fine. If you disagree, I'd love to hear about it. But I believe the Steam Deck to be the single best portable gaming for everyone, right? The Ally X, I think, is the best performance, but the Steam Deck is so accessible. It's so simple, and now in 2024, going into 2025, I think that the Steam Deck actually is going to hurt Nintendo Switch 2 sales. I genuinely believe that. Not because people are going to be like, I want to get a Steam Deck instead of a Nintendo Switch 2, but rather they're going to be like, I don't need to get a Switch 2 right now because what would it add to my gaming, right? People have been waiting for this next gaming console to come out by Nintendo, and I've been like, well, I'm not going to keep buying titles for my Nintendo Switch. This is me. I could be way off base. I could be reading this wrong, but let me know. Like, I genuinely have stopped buying Nintendo games. There's a couple that I got. I got the physical version of Sea of Stars as well as the physical version of Eastward, but I got those as collector's items because I wanted to have a collector's edition of this. But when it comes to playing that game, I 100% play those games on the Steam Deck. Not just because it performs better, but because the Steam Deck is just a more comfortable device and a more enjoyable one for me. Not to mention, now with a gaming PC, I can just play it on the PC and everything's good, or I can play it on my TV by using the dock. I mean, like, the whole experience is so good. Now, the docked experience for the Steam Deck isn't the best. It is not the best. The docked experience for the Nintendo Switch is magic. It is genuine magic, dude. The way that it integrates, the way that it upscales, the whole thing, dude. It is such a magical experience, and I highly, highly praise however Nintendo implemented it. It is great, and I wish that the Steam Deck could do it better. I really do. It just doesn't do it the way that the Nintendo Switch does. It's close. It's way better than the LAX or the Legion Go. It is way better, but it is not as good as the Nintendo Switch. It's just not seamless. But still, as time has gone on, I think to myself, like, when the Nintendo Switch 2 drops, unless they drop it with some mega blockbuster title that I know that Metroid Prime is gonna definitely pull people, but if they drop it with the next, the next Zelda game or whatever, it just, for me, I don't know what they could drop it with that would, like, make it sweeter, if that makes sense. As I told you, it's of course a day one purchase for me for multiple reasons. I'm a Nintendo fan, but also I run a gaming channel. But practically speaking, it is very likely that when the Nintendo Switch 2 drops, it'll be a hardware purchase with few to no software purchases necessary. I mean, Mario Kart 8 has been riding itself. That didn't work. Has been riding the money train. That's the better way to put it. The fact that it has as many of the freaking courses as it has, as well as all of the different characters, like, this game is just unreal. The new Mario Party game, Jamboree, a great game, a great title, but not console sellers in my opinion. And so, as I said, I see my Switch over there. It looks cute. It's awesome. It has the wonderful Joy-Cons on it. It's a beautiful little device. But at the end of my day, I grab the Steam Deck to go play. When I'm going out to, like, go do stuff, I put the Steam Deck in my backpack. It's just crazy. Like, and it is because, like, I can definitively say at this point, it is because after 8 years of gaming on the Nintendo Switch, right? Are we at 8? We're almost at 8. We're at 7. So after 7 years. After 7 years of gaming on the Nintendo Switch, I finally gotten to a point where I'm like, I kind of just need more. I'm replaying titles I've already played before, which, I mean, in 2024, that seems to be what everybody's doing. But I just need more. I want to play different games. I want to enjoy bigger experiences. And as far as indies are concerned, because that's really how the gaming industry has been able to serve me, is through indies and new genres, really. As far as these two things are concerned, I would be reluctant to purchase some of these titles for the Nintendo Switch, especially right now, knowing that there is something on the horizon. And I think this is the damaging part for the Switch 2 is we've known that it is supposed to come out, and we've had the expectation that it was going to come out back at the beginning of this year. And knowing that now it's not going to be even released till, or not knowing, but speculating that it's not going to be released till later, middle of next year, is making a lot of people be like, well, I'm just going to hold off on purchasing titles for my Nintendo Switch and start to explore other options. And that is why I think that the Steam Deck OLED right now has not only become so much better than I think any of us expected it to become, but also has become so much more competitive in a space I didn't think it was going to actually be able to be competitive in. I would have never thought that the Steam Deck OLED would enter into Nintendo's ring. But at this point, because of how long it's taking for Nintendo to deliver their next thing, whether it's carefully crafted, planned, or there's issues with production, or whatever it may be, or they're trying to break a record or whatever, the Steam Deck has now created a problem for me in my library. It goes, well, where the Switch was the one-stop shop, unless the Switch comes in and starts bringing some performance that is just unreal, like they drop a 90 a 90 hertz refresh rate too, and customizable this, and they're able to run AAA titles, at a moderate rate. The thing with the Steam Deck is you can actually change the settings to make the game run well, and on the Switch you might not be able to do that. I think that what the Steam Deck introduced is settings, and what the Switch is very simple, but as someone who's been starting to play some of these bigger titles, to be able to adjust a couple settings to get the game to actually run super well or consistent has made the handheld gaming experience so great. Whereas handheld before was something I was like, oh, it's always just going to be a stylized experience. It's always just going to be one that I'm going to have to lean into cell shading, or I'm going to have to lean into the fact that this game just is going to run at 30 frames per second. It's fine, whatever, no big deal. That's what it is. But with the Steam Deck and also the ROG Ally, all these things have introduced the fact that you can absolutely have performance and you can have fidelity. It's possible. And that is something that I think is going to be hard to leave. So the Steam Deck, I truly believe, has created not only some competition for the Switch 2, but has become a genuine pillar in the portable gaming, not just portable gaming, but the gaming world. And now and it could just be an echo chamber, dude. Honestly, I could be way off base, but I believe that the Steam Deck is no longer niche. I think it is becoming a mainstream device. And what's crazy is I'm starting to see them in the wild. And that, for me, is exciting. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. If you want to play games with me or hang out with the community of really, really tired dads, join me over on twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. I'm playing games over there, having fun. And we should have some fun with that. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanksgiving week. Super great for us who are celebrating Thanksgiving. And, play more and be kind. See you.